43.
42. 41.
40.
39.
Number 1.
39.
38.
37.
36.
35.
34.
33.
32.
31.
30. 29.
28.
27.
26.
25.
24.
23.
21.
20.
19.
18.
17. 16.
15.
14.
13.
12. 11.
10.
9. 8.
7.
6.
5.
4.
3.5.
3.
2.
1.
Hey, Rocky, you want to see me pull a show out of my hat? Nothing up my sleeve. Presto!
All right, Mouthwash fans, you are welcome. Welcome to the Mouthwash Talk Show, a minty fresh take on politics. And I'm so excited. I'm getting out of order here already at the very start of the show. We got a good special edition tonight, special edition. Now, there won't be any panel on, but we're going to have a panel on a little later. It's another fellow show that has a panel of a libertarian, a Democrat, and a Republican. And I would say pretty much two washed up people and one no-name person that sits on his panel, not the charismatic, fun people of Mouthwash panel, but very interesting because we had planned this show last week. We have Joseph Bortka. He dropped a lawsuit on the Republican Party about their procedures, and it seems that there's a lot of misconception out there about what this actually is. And this little clip we're going to show you a little later will show you just exactly how messed up that people think stuff is that I don't know what their intentions are, but we're going to find out. So we have Steve Whitmer of Whitmer News. He generally does a show around 8 o'clock this week. I think he did one an hour earlier just to accommodate our show tonight. And I think you're going to find it very interesting what's going on. And, a little bit of background on this. There is a huge void right now with the establishment GOP, the folks that have been in the supermajority for quite a while. There's a big void there of people that are getting frustrated in that supermajority, in actually the party, and they refuse to listen. They're not listening. And what happens is when the natives get restless, they order the tar and feathers and the pitchforks off of Amazon, and here we go. So there's a lot of folks that are trying to fill that void with different groups. So we have the Hoosier Freedom Caucus, who my good friend Spiro Raklianos and some others have gotten together, and they're starting thing. I had another fella call me about the, the National Liberty Caucus. They want to come in Indiana. And then there was another person that called me about another group that wanted to come in. So there's all of these groups forming. And I think once they all get together, they're going to be something to deal with. But this is just a tip of the spear right here. This thing we're going to talk to tonight with Joseph Bortka and Steve Whitmer. Steve Whitmer, he's digging into stuff. He does the witty reviews. He's digging into these fine. He is basically taking the curtain back behind the wizard. And I tell you what, if that, that video going around about the CEO at the Coldplay, that's about what the Republican Party is looking like. They're getting caught. They're getting caught and they're trying to hide and they're trying to duck. And don't be surprised if they don't come out and try to shame, destroy, and destruct and get us off track here. But it's not going away. It's not going away. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the guys on here. Let's go ahead and bring on Joseph and Stephen. You don't get to be down there, Stephen. Not yet. You haven't taken over the Mouthwash show yet. You're taking the Chateau de Marcel studio by storm with your show. So I'll start with you, Stephen. Tell everybody who you are and what you're up to. I can't hear you. While you're working on that, Joseph, can you hear me?
Technical difficulties. Yes, I can hear you.
He probably may need to go back out and come back in. But and in fairness, he just got off his show, so I'm sure he's probably trying to figure something out. So anyway, Joseph, let's hop over to you. I see you got Jim Banks for Senate on there. Yep, he's going to have to hop back.
It's just like my running days when I'd go to 5Ks and I ended up with 35 different shirts from different things. Now I do that with politics.
So yeah, well, you're causing some fun with the politics right now, with this lawsuit, and I was wondering when you did this, I would say that. So let's go ahead while Steven's getting his stuff together here. Yeah, put the trash can out of the picture there. We got standards here on the Chateau de Marceau studio. Run some background of how did we get to this lawsuit? So I know that you were at the convention and you actually got the needle moving a little bit by them at least meeting with you, but that's as far as it went. So give us a.
Yeah, so these things go way back to before I was really getting involved. When I was a young lad. I was not involved in conventions when I was 11 years old. But in about 2012, during the presidential election, there was a big movement of the Ron Paul people that they were trying to get Ron Paul elected, and they knew the actual procedure, which is that the conventions can choose their nominee if they take up their authority. They just have neglected that in recent years, and we've kind of shifted to this primary system. And so they organized to try to get Ron Paul nominated, at least from Indiana, to send our national convention delegates to the national convention where they choose the presidential candidate. They wanted to get Ron Paul delegates in. And so back then, the national convention delegates were chosen by the state convention instead of by the party insiders like it is now. And I think that was really the first link in the chain of what ended up in this lawsuit, because what happened is the people controlling the party, they started changing the rules of the party to undermine the voice of the rank and file delegates. Now, let's be honest here. Ron Paul he wasn't able to pull together the support to do this. But if that's really the case, why are they afraid of?
Now, let me interrupt you, Joseph. I'm a little older than you, and I remember what's the guy that ran Ross Perot? Ross Perot was the first. That's why it is so hard for independents. And I found this out firsthand when I ran for mayor, because before you could get on the ballot as an independent super easy. I think Indiana's the worst to get on. I think Mississippi's number one. You have to have like 30,000 signatures to get on the ballot as an independent. Ours is 2% of the vote for the Secretary of State, which if you're running for like dog catcher, you're going to have to get 2% of the second, they limited. So what you're saying is they've made the rules to make it harder to do things that they really shouldn't be afraid of. And that's why I think you got your Jim Banks shirt on there because of the John Russ. I just now got that. I'm not very fast, but I sure am slow. So we get up to the point where they're really not listening. So take us through that. Stephen, is your mic working now?
Good.
Oh yeah, look at him go. We're back. We're back. So let's segue from that real quick. I just want to let everybody know who Stephen is here. So Steve, tell everybody about your witty reviews real quick, and then we'll get into the meat, the real meat and potatoes here on this.
I'm the Baba Yaga of Central Indiana. And all the establishment people are scared of me, especially the IADC folks like Chad Pittman.
They're coming. So recently, I heard you got 3 segments on Rob Kendall's show.
Yeah, yesterday. It was pretty wild.
I was like, wow, and you're going in studio and everything. When are they going to clear out Abdul's studio and give it to you?
I hope Jerry Lopez. I hope Indy Spanglish takes over Abdul's spot. That'd be awesome.
You guys, you and Jerry Lopez would be solid. I would listen to that all day, every day, and twice on Sundays. You could get not Kenny Rogers, Jeff Boggs to write some stuff for you. I'll tell you, you could take over for Stephen Colbert. You'll probably be on the CBS before it's all over. See how I elevated you up there? But anyway, we got Steve on it tonight, as well as myself, because we've been following this stuff. We've been following these insider establishment people. I've been screwed over by them by more than one time. The way they do it is they got their little useful idiots out there like Abdul that'll go out and they'll say anything. And I got a clip here that's an exact perfect example of not really knowing the facts, skewing things one-sided and then saying, hey, this is why you should do it. And they're yucking it up and, oh, yeah, we're the smartest people in the state when they're a bunch of washed up people. So that's my little rant and raving on there about that. But Steve's filling that void. And I think Mouthwash is filling that void because we're going to be fair on all sides. You know, if Joseph's got a problem with this, I'll be the first one to tell him. And I think anybody on the Mouthwash panel will be the first one to bring it up. So, you know, we're having good dialogue here. We have our live chat on. Anybody wants to ask a question, I'll pay my best attention here, and we will get that out. But this is a little bit down in the weeds of procedure stuff. So let's pick it up back where we were. So, Joseph, you got a meeting at the last convention. So let me set this up for you. So Ken Colbert in the previous convention meeting, he got up and tried to do a point of order, which they just smacked him in the head and said, sit down, son, you're not welcome here. And that was that. They sort of just squashed it. But this last time Joseph got involved, he actually got a meeting before was it with the Rules Commission or with the?
No, this was a private meeting with Amy Hathaway, the current state chair, or the then state chair, Randy Head, who was the convention chair, and Joe Elsner, who's the executive director of the party.
Yeah. So the needle moved a little bit. They said, "Oh, we'll listen to you," but then take us from there. What happened? They just said, "Good boy, thanks for the talk. Go out in the hallway and talk to the people."
So, really, this was all in the light of the 2022 convention because the delegates were denied their right to make decisions for the party. The convention is a deliberative assembly of delegates. And what that means is that the convention meets to do business. And if the convention cannot do business because they don't allow the delegates to exercise their rights to bring business before the assembly, then they really undermine the entire convention. And so what's been happening in recent years is the leadership of the party has been focusing on making the convention only about the candidates to the exclusion of any serious discussion about policy. They have a platform, but one common complaint that many of you might have who are paying attention to Republican politics is the platform doesn't really mean much anymore.
No.
And part of that is because they don't really allow much debate. They don't have any debate, at least in recent years. The most recent example of something like that was in 2018 with Daniel Elliott's people. But even then, they definitely abbreviated it and wanted to avoid having a real discussion.
Well, and I guess to be devil's advocate here, and we experienced this in our meeting today with the Hoosier Freedom Caucus. We trying to get our bylaws done. It's just painstakingly to go through these things. And I would say that a lot of the stuff, I think I agree with them having the meeting beforehand to say, hey, what do you want to do? Because basically we're getting these delegates together. In the last convention, we had a heated lieutenant governor thing. And that was just one of them. Just think if we had 3 of them or 2 of them that were heated, we'd be there it'd be a 2 a.m. vote.
Hey.
And like, who would want to be that? So I get the fact that wants to happen, but I think the underlying current here is that there's a lot of folks out there that feel like we're not being listened to. So we got the premise for the lawsuit. I'm going to go ahead and play this. I'm going to go ahead and put this up. This is Indiana Issues. It's Abdul's the host, got a Libertarian, Democrat, and a Republican on there. It's sort of the same setup as Mouthwash, but they're not as good as us. But I want to play this because they addressed this, and just from what I know of the lawsuit and what they were talking about, it doesn't match. And so anyway, I'll go ahead and play it. Let's see if I can get it going here.
You're watching Indiana Issues, the public affairs program. We go beyond the headlines and sound bites and dig into the issues impacting Hoosiers. Our guests on the program today are Libertarian Mark Rutherford, Democrat Lindsey Ships, and Republican Jim Merritt. Okay, GOP Civil War.
Are we still talking about the budget?
No, the budget was just fired. That's just fired at Fort Sumter. This one's Gettysburg.
Oh, Lord.
The Indian Republican Party Civil War enters its next phase, ladies and gentlemen, with another legal chapter. Marion County delegate and former House candidate Joseph Bortka filed a lawsuit alleging the parties, make sure I got this right here, alleging the party's convention was hijacked by leadership to suppress grassroots votes. The suits target the Indiana Republican State Committee and former convention chairs Ed Simcox and Randy Head. And so, Jim Merritt, we start with you.
Yeah, well, former county chairman. Well, first of all, Ed Simcox is the most honest person I know, number one. And two, he understands how to put a convention on. And Randy Head did an outstanding job of succeeding him. And I think this is what happens when the parties that are in a supermajority and not a whole lot of discipline, and the idea that he's gotten a lot of media on this, but I just don't think that this has any merit. I don't think that
no pun intended.
Yeah, right. I just don't. I don't know what is there. This is inter-party squabble. A lawsuit is so foreign to me on this. They ought to have a fight about this. But usually when people like Ed Simcox and Randy Head get everybody together every 2 years and they talk about a platform, the biggest issue that is discussed is the life issue. That is really what this is all about. And there are many of us that think that that's been in that summer session, that special session, that was solved. And so I've been to a lot of conventions, and I've never seen a minority squished, if you will, or shut down. And it just really kind of boggles my mind. It's almost like idle hands. We don't have anything else to do. Let's fight among ourselves. And it's disappointing.
So, Lindsay, let me ask you, are Republicans acting like Democrats now?
Well, when you threw this on our list today, I was sitting there thinking, well, just a year ago, I was sitting at the Indiana State Democratic Convention waiting to find out if Destiny was going to be the one. But obviously, this is the scenario we've got here now that it's in the courts is different. And you've taken this fight, essentially pulled it out of the convention where you normally see and I loved your point that this was so perfectly executed at the convention by the folks who are seeking to put others in the roles they're in now. And now it didn't work out in their favor. So they've they've taken another turn. I thought that was brilliant. But I was looking through I spoke with a colleague and I looked through some of the case law. If you've ever looked at this issue before, I would suggest looking up Nolan v. Taylor. And this was a result of some Martin County Democrats who were upset with how it was going down there after a caucus. And the courts were like, why did you bring this to us? Why is this of our jurisdiction? First of all, it's almost like the drama with HOAs and like I was like, it might as well be an HOA. Like we have no jurisdiction over this contract. Why are you here? And it was just interesting to me to see how we've forgotten our history, just very brief history here in Indiana, to bring that lawsuit forward. I don't think the court is going to grant them any type of. I think it's going to be done, thrown out. Yeah, no, they're not going to hear this, and I appreciate the briefing or the filing that was presented. Nice try. Would be a great conversation for perhaps L2s or L3s, but that's it.
Well, let's ask the other lawyer in the room here, our good friend Mark Rutherford. Mark, obviously there are lots of issues, standing, jurisprudence, the classic political question, like, hey, you boys go in the back room and go beat the hell out of each other and go work this on your own because we're not dealing with this nonsense here. Not today. Your thoughts, my friend?
My thoughts about it is I think the Indiana election code, which really needs a big revision, but there are a few things in there that suggest that the court should be involved in a couple of minor things and the rest, let everybody fight it out. That's the tradition. That's the way it should be. For the Libertarian Party, I get involved in the politics on it. And when you have any group of people together, you're going to have disagreements about it, but I'm not going out there filing lawsuits on it. I talked to other people afterwards. I didn't think this went well. I thought this went great. What do you think? That's what you do afterwards. And the thing that keeps coming to me is when the rules worked for us to get some of our people nominated, we loved the rules. But now that the rules are being used in a way we don't like, now we don't like the rules. Well, which way do you want it? And I understand why they may have frustrations because I think they've been shut out. A lot of the reasons they've been shut out is because of stuff they've done that has not been very well taken by other people in their party. But your best way is to go to people and say, what did I do wrong? Why do you think it was wrong? What can we do to solve it? Can we change it? And you're more likely to get a better result. maybe you'll get half a loaf instead of 0 loaf.
And by the way, speaking of 0 loaves, in addition to the lawsuit that was filed, they also put out a fundraising letter saying, "Hey, donate money to help us pay for this litigation."
A GoFundMe, huh?
Literally a GoFundMe.
Yes.
And the first name on the GoFundMe letter was Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. Now, I'm like, okay, help me out here, Micah, because you're basically trying to get rid of the system that got you.
He's a child of the convention.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so to be an orphan of the convention, he keeps himself up.
He will be an orphan, but he's a child of it. He's a product of the convention. And that really,
Yes.
I mean, it just completely stirred me. It confused me a little bit because
I believe the text message was, "I'm perplexed."
that's exactly right. I was perplexed by the
I
whole
had a different word
situation.
for it.
Yeah, it's and it will be thrown out, and it's really it's something that we shouldn't even be talking about because I don't even know who Bortka is, and from
You will
what you have
soon,
said,
Merritt.
he's
Well, I'll tell you who Mr. Bortka is. Mr. Bortka is a Holocaust denier, borderline Nazi sympathizer. He ran at Marion County Chairman Slating with John Schmitz and a couple other nut jobs, and they got.
Okay, I'm going to pause it. I'm going to pause it right there, and we're going to come back to it because that right there is, this guy wants to sue everybody for everything. I see David Waters in the chat. He's suing him for stuff. He's got such thin skin for a guy that thinks he's this Billy Badass going around. All that he just said was a lie. Joseph, you did not run with me. You did not run with me. You ran for secretary later, but you did not run in on my slate. And furthermore, called on Elizabeth Williams, Devon Anderson, and Maury Strosser, the names that he called her. I think I'll pass that along to them. And so we made a tremendous effort to try to change the party in here in Marion County, and it was rigged for us to lose. Plain and simple. They put 300 people in to keep us from winning, and that's what they did. So I just want to do that. I want to go ahead and play this back again to go. I just wanted to clear that up. So I'd be done with it because I still want to stay focused on the lawsuit. And Whitmer, you're first up. I think Joseph, everybody's ready to tune this up. Joseph, you've got your ideas on how it's not valid. And I don't know who that Democrat lady is, but
so
she's
can I say a few things first before we get into the questions?
Yeah. We'll do that. We'll let you do that, and we'll clear the air on that because there's more. There's more on this, and you could see. I think you could see. This is how I envision the back room at the establishment. Them sitting around, yucking it up, smoking cigars, drinking bourbon, going, "Oh, these people, blah 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 blah." So, and I got him while I'm at it. I might as well say it. Jim Merritt, you're washed up. You need to go away. This clip here that I'm doing had 140 views on it of people watching it. We're probably going to give them more views by showing this clip than they're going to get all week. This was 2 days ago. They got 140 views. Whitmer, you get up in the morning and you have more. You have 141 views before you even tweet anything. So, and Jim Merritt's got this Merritt in the Morning show. I did a show with him. It was terrible. He's boring. He needs to go away. He needs to go away.
Don't be so mean. I would love to have him on the show again, and I'd have a conversation with him about it. I think it seemed to me like if they read the complaint, they not spend very much time on it. And I'm not, no shade here. They had a list of things to talk about. They're thinking, oh, this is some crazy person filed a lawsuit. I get it. But I think that the courts are going to disagree with it. And I think, if anything, them downplaying it is going to make the publicity even better for us whenever the court disagrees with everybody. So,
and you heard Merritt say we shouldn't even be talking about it, but here we are.
But you are.
Yeah, but you are.
And I know that it was a shaming thing. That's why. And the fact is, here's the thing, though. Merritt is always going to protect the shield. He's always going to be the bootlicker of the GOP. That's what he's been doing forever now. And what pisses me off the most is that you have 4 clowns up there that are just like, oh, well, you know what? We should just be able to talk to civilly with the party. Well, guess what, clowns? That's what they've been trying to do forever. And they won't listen to it. And this is what the escalation has done to. And the fact that they're minimizing this and thinking that, well, you know what? what? This isn't going to do anything. Well, really? Because if it goes into the next step, obviously all of you are wrong. And the worst part is that you said it best, John, was that this is exactly what it looks like. We're peeking behind the curtain of what the establishment is like. They're probably going to Nikki Plains and trying to do an over the pants handy, but you can't get it over the gut of that woman. And then over the gut of Abdul too. And all he do is taking it from the back. And the problem is, I thought the libertarian will be able to pull his head out of his ass, but no, he'd rather get it behind from Chase Oliver. And Merritt obviously doesn't give a damn. And he's just going to be like, no, the GOP is just fine. They're doing great. But anyway,
you're gonna get the reputation of the Rob Kendall of our show.
We're gonna have that bleeper button just on.
Hey, I've been
it's Saturday night. Hey, this is your Woody review.
This is not, it's a Mouthwash broadcast, but we have to have a little witty reviews in there. But he illustrates the frustration level of a lot of people, and they think that it's just this minority, but it is not. I'm getting calls 3 times a day from people that are like, what can we do? What can we do? These people are paying no attention to us. And I remember one time, one of the news people told me, I think it was one from Channel 13, until you sue somebody, nobody cares. And that's where we are. And you see how this goes.
So I want to say something about. So it seemed to me like Jim was suggesting that we're just trying to burn down the convention and destroy everything, crash and burn. We don't care what the fallout is. That is absolutely not true. I understand where they're coming from. I know they're looking at this and they're thinking, oh, this is crazy. Why would anyone do this? But it's been going on for so long. And the thing that our main assertion is not that we need to just get rid of the rules. Our assertion is that we're trying to make sure that the rules are followed. If the rules were followed, then we wouldn't have an issue. We wouldn't have any case at all. But the problem here is that the convention is the highest body in the Republican Party. And for years and years now, the state committee has been trying to usurp that authority and be the head of the party when in reality,
just try to ramrod it. So I'm going to play the other part of this and then you'll see. So this is how they operate. It is discourage and destroy, rinse and repeat. And so we're going to have the discouraged part. We've had a little bit of destroy because they were talking bad about me in this, and they should be saying, wow, this guy really wanted to improve the party, just like you, Joseph, wanted to improve the party, was doing what was needed done. Your people, let's put that up there. Any reporter needs
to my crew's coming out. We're going to go into the trenches. You want to meet in the parking lot, Merritt? Let's go. Hey, Abu, you want to go? Let's do it.
Let's go. Yeah, that would be.
We'll meet you behind the back.
There.
That's how you
so
like it.
Let me get to the rest of this thing here.
Be like 65-35, and then I was like, okay, that's it. You had your moment in the sun. Now, please goose step your way out of the hall if you could.
So this is the Twitter caucus.
Yes.
Got it.
Yeah.
So
feel free to chime in.
Absolutely no relevance on real life and where we are with. I'll tell you though, it's if you're mad about how the convention went, then systematically try to fix it. Work with what you've got. I was man, it was really tough. I remember where I was when I found out that Micah won.
Here we go.
I remember getting the text messages asking me what I thought about it. And I'm not saying a dang thing, focusing on my own convention race. Going to be quiet now and going to move forward. I'm focused on the AG's race. We'll worry about, the third floor of the State House later. But yeah, I remember when that happened. I remember seeing Randy Head walking back from the convention, just all right, I guess I'm gonna go write a press release. It was surreal almost. But those moments where, and you say he's going to be an orphan. I mean, please orphan him. Please, could the GOP please orphan this?
He's very popular out there.
Oh, I get it. But you've got, you've also got serious ethics concerns, even just with the GoFundMe. But also with, Diego is also a product of the convention.
And so is Todd Rokita.
And yes, and we've got.
But at least the Shala and Dan Elliott are as well.
Yes. Yes, very true.
Which tells me once again, boring government is good government.
Boring government is good government. Absolutely.
Mark,
Yes.
Mark, chime in your thoughts, please.
Well, about the whole thing and about, again, they need to work with each other if they really want to, but it tells me what I suspected of this group, and they don't want to work with anybody. They want to take control of it. And that just confirms what I think everybody knew already about that. So I don't think it's going to go very far.
They're making up crap.
It's just very interesting. It makes my day, entertains
and this
me.
Guy's the biggest
That's a bad thing, because if I'm entertained by the news, it's not good for good government.
All I know was that when I read it, I was like, it was an edible moment in my backyard. Believe you me.
Now
You're watching Indiana Issues, the public affairs program. We go beyond the headlines and sound bites with our political panel: Libertarian Mark Rutherford, Democrat Lindsey Ships, Republican Jim Merritt. And we talk about the issues impacting Hoosiers across the state of Indiana. Well, a little bit closer to home, the Indianapolis City County Council this past.
All right. Let's do that. So they were asking who that was. So the Democrat lady was Lindsey Ships. Never heard of her. Then you had Mark Rutherford. He ran for Secretary of State for the Libertarians so they could stay on the ballot. And I got a feeling Libertarians are going to have a hard time getting that. What are they going to
they're cooked.
2% for the – I don't even know who they're going to run for it.
It's some lady who's a Chase Oliver Libertarian. I questioned her on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, okay, so you're a Chase Oliver Libertarian, the same guy that supported taxpayer money going to transing up prison inmates."
Yep. So here's David Waters. He's another one that Abdul's got. I mean, he's just sue happy. He's just going to sue you for whatever. I don't think. Oh, look, now we got Joseph's got his expert commentator in here. she's going to be a terror.
Now I got to tone it down.
yeah, we got to keep it PG-2. So the GOP better watch out for that one right there.
Here's the thing, though, too, is like they're totally out of their element. They're like, they didn't even read it. They don't understand. It's like, oh, we should just be bygones, get bygones, and we should just be able to fix it. And the crazy part is the Democrat, who is obviously pro everything that's bad. But, hey, earmuffs. But like I thought for sure the Libertarian or even the Democrat would figure it out. Obviously, Abdul and Jim were just going to protect the shield the whole time, but they're all on the side of, oh no, we want to destroy the whole thing. We want to build it into our own image. No, we just want you to follow the rules.
That is not, and that's what we did when we ran for chair. We said we want to help build the party because we had seen these other entities. We saw what Micah went through with trying to bust them in, and they wanted no part of it. They would not listen to it. I said, you can keep your chair positions. You can keep your job, Cindy Mowry. You can do all that stuff. I don't care. We just want to make Marion County strong again. And it wasn't enough. And, and Abdul's got a lot of room to talk. He's the one that made fun of my good friend, Ken Johnson, the ex-pastor of the Colts. Swing low, sweet cherry. He basically called him an Uncle Tom. And I guess because Abdul's black, he can do that to somebody else. Joseph, if you did that, they would call you.
Oh my God.
He did call you that. Yeah. So I don't know how we have this double standard with these people. And, it is. Yeah.
I thought it was funny. I thought it was funny that that the Democrat lady was basically saying, "Well, they have to follow the process and do all this stuff," and that's kind of the point of the lawsuit is that we did all of those things, and still, like we did approach them behind the scenes. We filed an internal complaint, and they just disposed of it like.
No way, kid, you bug me. So you posted in here some case law, right? Because that Lindsay. I don't know, or you did look up some stuff because you had seen this beforehand. Did you look up something about it?
What I shared in the chat, if anybody is watching that's more legally minded and wants to look at some legal arguments, that is an article that basically lays out the foundation for the kind of lawsuit that we filed. What we filed was a derivative suit. And even if many lawyers, especially in Indiana, are not super familiar with this kind of lawsuit because it doesn't happen a lot in Indiana. It happens a lot more in places like Delaware, where there's a lot of big corporate stuff. What a derivative suit is it's a shareholder suit. You're a member of the corporation, and there's somebody controlling the corporation that you've delegated authority to, which is usually the board of directors in a big like shareholder like company that's on Wall Street. And if you as a shareholder who does not usually take part in the day-to-day, you find out that the board of directors is doing something in a self-dealing way, in a way that is hurting your interest in the company, then you can file what's called a derivative suit, because usually the people that file lawsuits on behalf of a company are the board of directors. But why would they sue themselves? So we have this mechanism that a member of a corporation can sue the board of directors when the board of directors is violating their fiduciary duties. And what we're doing here is we are arguing that the delegates are, for the purposes of a derivative suit, they have standing to sue the state committee, which is the board of directors of the Republican Party. So as I could tell from watching that, none of them really picked up on the fact that this was a derivative suit. And the reason why that's important is because that case law where that the woman was mentioning is specifically talking about public elected offices. The courts do not like to interfere in issues of political rights. So where there's a situation where somebody's elected and they think that the procedure happened wrongly, but it's an election of public office, well, they're not going to want to weigh in on that conflict. But we are arguing that this is an internal private matter, and there's other rights and obligations that the courts can weigh in on. And so I've only found one example of this being tried in a political party context, but it got thrown out because not because of a problem with the derivative claim, but because the person filed it pro se, and you cannot file derivative suits pro se because you're representing a corporation. What you're doing is you're saying the shareholder is taking on the clothing of the corporation and suing on behalf of the corporation. So technically, in legal terms, the Indiana Republican Party is suing the state committee.
And that's what you were explaining on Kendall and Casey last week too.
Yeah, that was. But people's eyes glaze over, and this is what I mean. I don't know if this is how we get people revitalized, but I talk to so many people that just say it's not going to matter what I do. So I think this is important on two different fronts. One, we're not trying to destroy the party. What showed in those clips that we just had, it just shows how uneducated those people that are supposed to be educated, that are out there trying to tell their 141 viewers something that they really didn't do enough research on, and basically look like propaganda and trying to destroy. You know,
let me just say, whenever they try to get it dismissed and it doesn't work, they're going to go back and read that complaint.
Yeah, they're going to get interested, because I don't know if I've known Joseph for a while. He studies history. He cares about this. He digs so far down in the weeds. I think he saw Whitty down there in the weeds the other day. They were both so far down the rabbit hole. They got to name the rabbit.
It's like, hey,
yeah, how you doing? I know you, but we need folks like that. We need folks to be able to dig into this. And that's what, Whitty Reviews, it's raw, it's there, it's in your face. The Mouthwash Show, we try to bring you all sides. Everyone's opinion is appreciated until it gets to the point where it's just a flat lie or propaganda. We're going to call it out.
Well, don't forget too, people were thinking about Micah as like, oh, he'll never win. And then he won. And then, so if they're saying, and I guarantee you, those 4 people were probably saying the same thing about Micah last year. It's like, there's no way that he wins. He's, Julie McGuire, this and that, and Trump and this and that. There's like, all right, well, he did win. And so if the court doesn't dismiss it, if it continues forward, it's like, hey, guess what? We got a chance. And not only that, but like same thing with Micah winning, it revitalized everybody. Knowing it's like, oh boy, we might actually have a chance then. If this wins, or even if it doesn't get dismissed, that automatically sends out the flare that, wow, we can actually do something.
Yeah, well, and Micah's going to be our guest on Mouthwash this Tuesday. So this is all, it just sort of, I tell people, I say, we have the dumbest luck on this show. I'll schedule somebody 2-3 weeks ahead of time, and somehow the news cycle will fit right into what we did. So, I mean, this is all coming into play. And I do thank both of you on short notice to get on here, because I sent a couple text messages out. And Steve, I know you moved your show around, and Bortka, I know you got kids and things you can do. And raise your hand if you're getting paid to do this. Yeah, I mean, so follow the money. There's a little saying that I believe the love of money is the root of all evil. And you look at some of these people that talk about the money. There you go. You could just make your own conclusion on that. So, Joseph, I want to talk about, this Lindsay says something about it'll be thrown out. They all say it's going to be thrown out. I don't think it's going to get thrown out.
I don't either. And the biggest thing that I think we're going to run into is, like I was explaining before, Indiana courts do not deal with derivative suits a lot. And so the big tricky part right now is, I'm hoping that the judicial system treats it with the appropriate level of care, because in attempts to gain representation for this lawsuit, I've talked to a lot of lawyers about this, and there's a handful of them that get it and they understand what's going on, usually the corporate lawyer types, but the corporate lawyers are the ones that get paid $1,000 an hour. And there's very few of them that are, going to spend their time on something like this. We're not even asking for a monetary remedy here. We're just asking for declaratory and injunctive relief, equitable relief. So most lawyers that I've talked to don't really understand what we're trying to do, and they throw similar arguments to what they're talking about, because I kind of took it from Lindsay there, that she went back and talked to some lawyers and they pulled up this case like maybe it's something they talk about in law school. I haven't gone to law school, so I don't know what they teach, but I wouldn't be surprised if this comes up in that. But as we said, law very often hinges on these very technical legal questions, and I don't think the case that she brought up really fits into the same bucket as our case does.
Yeah. So I want to, since we're digging down the weeds, I think I might be down there with you guys right now. So when I ran for mayor, we had gotten these signatures and we sued the state about the signatures. And it had to be the Secretary of State and all these, and they got all mad but there's a process. You have to sue certain people to get them in the lawsuit. Well, what happens is when the state gets sued, now this case, the state didn't get sued. But I just want to tell you how it works when the state gets sued. So say you're Todd Rokita, you get sued. There's these lawyers that'll line up at the trough because all they have to do is file an appearance and they get paid. So when I filed this lawsuit, which I spent $5,000 on my attorney, they had 6 attorneys from the state, 5 from the city. They spent approximately $150,000 in attorneys to keep me off the ballot. And, so whenever the state gets sued, these lawyers love it. They love it. Now, in this case, this is going to be Republican lawyers. The party's going to have to pay for it. So they're going to be there won't be 11 lawyers on this one. They may put one on it or whatever. But they're going to have to defend this thing. They're going to have to defend it. They're going to have to figure out a way for something to happen here. But back to the bottom line, they need to start talking to the people. And if I hear the establishment GOP come out of their mouth grassroots one more time, I'm going to stuff their mouth full of grassroots and make them eat it, because I'm so sick of that. Oh, we got the grassroots. Well, yeah, I see no grass and I see no roots
on there, and tells everybody we're working with the grassroots.
Mm-hmm. I want to give so I decided just to, while you guys were talking, I threw that article or the one that Joseph put up there, and I put it in Chat GPT. So just explain it to me. So at the very bottom, it shows why the article matters, and then in essence, and I just want to read this to you real quick. Baglia's article explores how plaintiffs might effectively sue political party committees for constitutional misconduct by converting internal party norms into enforceable legal duties, identifying where prior efforts fell short, and offering refined theories for future reform. Which, I think that nails it exactly what's going on right now.
That is exactly the word.
That's a very interesting point here. If we succeed at this is going to plow new legal grounds for other states that are having similar problems. This is an untested theory on the merits, as far as I can tell. I'm not aware of any situation where a derivative action against a political party has reached the merits anywhere in the country. So anybody that is interested in novel legal theories, this is going to be an interesting case to watch.
Making my head swim. And I see the process. And one thing, we have we're going to run for delegates, for state delegates, and we'll see if it's a war, because the state party tried to rig the delegates. They gerrymandered the delegates so that they could get all theirs in, and Micah still won. So I would say, with the Micah stuff, to me, it's just ugly.
It's so
they have
funny,
handled
though.
that. They've handled that so poorly.
I mean, they're still licking their wounds on that, and the fact that they keep saying is like, well, Micah is the product of this. It's like, no, this is two separate things. Oh, Diego is the product of the convention. Micah and Dan Alley and Elise, like, that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about voting for people. We're talking about actually talking about the rules here. And I just don't understand why they keep bringing that up.
They talk about how this is going to hurt the party, but what I actually see is that if we win, this is going to help the party, because it's going to mean they're going to have to stop doing all the underhanded things that they do to piss people off and get them ready to sue them if they could figure out how to do it. Like the problems that we're running into are things like a precinct committeeman who is a member of the county committee doesn't even have the right, under their current understanding of the rules, to know who their fellow committee members are.
Right.
How can you work together if you can't even know who your fellow members are? That's just absolutely preposterous, and that's one of the things that we bring up in this suit. And the reason they set it up that way is because precinct committeemen under Indiana state law are the people who choose the person who fills ballot vacancies. And because 40% of our legislators end up in the legislature the first time through filling ballot vacancies and caucuses, this is a mechanism by which the current people in power maintain their power without allowing it to change hands. We like to have a mix-up in our electoral system. It's in the interest of the people to have turnover in the legislature. We don't want people that are in there for 30 years and, end up,
unless they're Mike Young. He's based
very rare.
Yeah, very rare. He's one of the rare air guys. And speaking of that, I don't want to cut you off there, but I want to keep the thing moving. There is, I'm not at liberty to talk more than to say that there is a very strong undercurrent going of a split in the upper part of the party. So we'll see how this pans out. But one thing I want to say about this, Joseph, if you do win, it is going to make for a long convention. But it doesn't have to be if they address these issues up front and get everybody aware of it. So when they bring up the question, I'll just use change the speed limit for our party. We're going to change our speed limit from 55 to 65 for our party. Everybody knows what that's going to be. So when we bring up the question, we don't have to have a floor debate with 1,700 people there, but everybody knows what that is, and then they vote on the change. Is that sort of? Did I give that?
So okay, so here's how this works. In the past, conventions used to be 3 or 4 days long. Having a one-day convention is actually a very new thing. What they did most recently is they had district conventions before the main convention meeting. I think they probably met as a full body to have to adopt the rules. But generally, in a situation like that, what you do is you have all the smaller discussions in the district meetings, and then what they pass as resolutions, you'd hand that off to the resolutions committee of the full convention, and they'll consolidate things and make sure that the issues are like if 4 or 5 districts pass similar resolutions, well, they'll consolidate that and propose something to the convention. And then what you can do in the standing rules is you can dictate rules of debate that will make sure it does not last until late into the night. And that's what we did. We proposed that they have 10 minutes aside for each debate, and they could, whoever's moved the proposal could divvy up their time however they saw fit. And they do this in Congress. They do this that's just how these things are done. And one of the problems is we've gotten to a point where a lot of people don't understand all these rules and procedures, and they're probably in fear that things could get out of hand if we aren't careful with how these procedures operate.
Right.
Because
that's my concern. We don't want a 3-day. I mean, especially when we have the knockdown drag out of who's going to win. But that's another thing. Mike Braun could have stepped up and led this thing and said, "Hey, I'm just going to go ahead with Micah Beckwith." But he took the chance and then got it handed to him, which honestly, I think if Micah Beckwith loses, Donald Rainwater gained about a good chunk of the Republican Party, because actually Micah winning probably saved Braun, because he was struggling with a lot of folks. And that split wasn't, I think the split's even bigger now, but it was pretty good back then. So strategically, it was good for our party to come together that way, but then they didn't embrace it. It's just been the last time I talked to somebody with Micah's campaign or Micah's group, there's no communication. It's they're not working together. They're not, and they've stripped him of his powers. So to me, it's like they've really just fumbled the football here, and they're the 1980 New Orleans Saints. We're gonna put a bag over my head pretty soon here. But so I don't know, Stephen, you've been digging into the Diego thing and all these other stuff, and I'm mixed on him. I mean, I hear all this stuff and I get it. He's a politician. And I think his PR is horrible, but man,
he's gonna win.
You just keep, that's what I think. And
I think he wins first round.
Yeah. I
think I was at that Tea Party thing last month or like 2 months ago where Diego was speaking at, and all the boomers were getting moist about him. And it's like, promises made, promises kept, and we do the strongest election law ever, and all that stuff. And I'm just looking around and go, oh yeah, Diego, yeah, little guy, that's what I like to hear. And I'm just like, it's totally over. And Joseph, you were sitting across from me when stuff was going on. It was like, I wish someone would have asked him about India, but what's he going to do? He's just going to lie to us about it. And it's like, and then I see all these people endorsing him now too.
That's the biggest problem I have with Diego, is all the international trips and the potential ties to this immigration thing.
Yeah, Raju.
The car dealerships. You look at anything that has to deal with the Secretary of State, then they've donated money to him. And and I know Stephen's been digging up, but I don't think that's much different.
That's nothing new.
Politicians. I think you could take this and cookie cutter it for every politician. I look at, Stephen and I have both run against Justin Moad, and he gets liquor. I mean, he gets this money from these.
It's all the usual packs.
It's the usual packs of liquor and
bows,
whatever.
And all
bows, it's all that stuff. And he's bought and paid for. I mean, heck, he was dominated by a dominatrix. So he's going to be an easy pushover. Anybody in District 97.
Going into the closet, Moed. Now you're going to watch him.
Yeah, Oh, I'm glad your daughter's out of the room. But we can unleash Whitmer now. But that's just another example of, it's just a cookie cutter thing of this. And I don't know if exposing it. I mean, people are going to put up their hands and say, "Oh well, we knew that's how it was." It's like, we're not going to do anything. But that's what I say. I think I sent. There we go. So I sent Spiro a text message. I'm a multitasker here. We have the HoosierFreedomCaucus.com is live, and you can join that. And what that is, this is a group that is going to be like we're going to be the billboard for Indiana politics. So Stephen, you're going to have a rally over here at the car wash. You're going to get a bunch of high school kids to have a rally to support. Say what you're going to support Mike Young for the Senate or whatever. You send us a message. We put it on the board. And then our people that are in this group or any groups you can join this. So any group that has anything they want to do, we're going to post it on there. We're going to be like the mouthpiece. We're going to be the messenger. We're going to help promote what people are doing. And so you can join that. It's like $20 for an annual thing. And what that does, that just helps us with our emailing. It's just that cost to email groups. And it's just going to be, like-minded people that want to get this stuff done without the BS, without the behind the back door garbage. So, check out the thing. It's just got live today. We had our first meeting today. We got the bylaws in place. I think we're going to grow this thing pretty quickly. It's statewide. I think people are going to like it. So we're going to try to bring all the groups together that are fighting their own single battles in different areas and be able to get them some help. So you could go watch cards with Stephen if you want to help Mike Young get elected. You could come over there, put your bikini on, Joseph, and come on over and help.
I got my Mankini ready.
Mankini going. It's Speedo City. Yeah, we could probably get some of the stuff. Never mind. But anyway, so we're trying to do this, and like I said, there's no money driving this thing. This is just for us trying to improve our system. We're not trying to burn anything down. We're just trying to what George Carlin say, it's a club and you ain't in it. We're just trying to, make the club a little bigger and make it more inviting.
We just want accountability, really, for the most part. Like, if you're going to, a perfect example would be like, hey, if you're a Republican, here's the platform. If we want to adjust things on the platform, it's like, well, that's what we're about, kind of deal. I mean, obviously, I've been kind of excommunicated from the party, but
well, you never got in. Wait a second, Whitmer. You never got in it to get thrown out of it.
Well, I ran as one, so I'm sort of that.
Yeah, well, me too in that case, and I was in there, but they, like I said, it's discourage and destroy, rinse and repeat. That you'll see that when you see that going on, no matter what it is. You'll know what's up. You'll know who's behind it. Wait, here we go.
I saw that too.
Oh, yeah. And a shout out to Indie Reporter. You're at 4,600. 4,600. We need 5,000. And what's going to happen when you get 5,000 on X?
The goal is right now, if we get 5,000, I already opened up a Patreon, but it'll be actually activated to start taking in donations. Probably gonna have like a giveaway, like Arby's coupons and a gift card or something like that, and then I don't know, we'll figure it out if we ever get there. But
add a picture of you in the mankini, no problem.
Yeah, exactly. Autographed picture with an indie reporter mankini.
So I was looking at, you were on the Rob Kennel, and I saw that you had on X had tagged them, so I just clicked on Casey Daniels, and I find it very coincidental that you have 4,600 followers on the Indie Report and she has 4,600. What's going on there? Have you been to a Coldplay concert? Should I alert Jim of anything? What's going on there?
The dude has nothing to worry about.
Okay, yeah,
as they would say.
I figured that. Well,
she has more than me, but yeah. Oh, not by much though.
No, wow. Yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar. So
that's a good eye.
but Rob has helped you out. 3 segments on there, and then Joseph, you've been on there. I've been on there, but he hates me. But he's got the GDS, Gabe derangement syndrome, and
he has his part to play.
Yeah, it's okay, but I called him out last week, and boy, he ran, put his tail between his legs. He just ran away. He's a little scared, so I'm sure he'll have a slow week and have to bring it up again or something. But we're making some progress here. I think one of your biggest concerns, Joseph, was that you'd file a lawsuit and nobody would pick it up, but it looks like it got a lot of attention, and we'll see. And if we get through the next step, so when do you actually give us the next steps here? What's going on?
So whenever you file a lawsuit, there's deadlines in place that start. I think the rule is 30 days plus 3 because from when you send it. So because they anticipate it's going to be in the mail for a few days, and that's what the deadline they have to respond to it. Either admit and deny your allegations or file a motion to dismiss. Now, we anticipate they're going to file a motion to dismiss because, as they discussed on this show, there's a legal understanding among people that aren't super familiar with these things that you can't sue a political party in court. And we're trying to take exception to that. We think we have the specific facts and form to do that. but it is going to be probably an argument in front of the judge, and the judge is going to have to decide whether or not this is appropriate for the court to weigh in on it.
Now, which court system is this going through? Is
This is
state?
Marion County Circuit Courts and the state
circuit
court.
It's
This is
a
a
state
state court issue. Yeah.
Okay, so you didn't have to pay $500 to file it.
No, man, I
that's
heard
the
about.
federal.
I heard the filing fees are that for federal court. That's
Federal,
crazy.
yeah, I had to pay the $500 for that. So yeah,
Jeez.
that right there will slow you down a little bit. It's like, okay, $500, yeah, that's good. But I think that's necessary. You got to put some skin in the game, and if you can't pay one lawyer hour to get it
Well,
filed, you
you know,
might as
the
well
state
quit.
of Indiana has a constitutional provision that says justice will be administered freely and without purchase. And they don't follow that one, do they? I actually took that one to the Supreme Court, and they did not like my argument.
No, yeah,
They
well,
would have undermined their entire budget if they agreed.
you like to you definitely missed your calling as a lawyer because you love to argue. And I see our friend
Yeah, I mean,
Adam
I might
Harvey.
go to law
Adam
school
Harvey's in the chat there. He's another one that you'll be a 5 a.m. argument any day. No, I'll take it. I'll take it till you fall asleep, old man. So that's good. So we're getting ready to wrap it up here. We get an hour. That's good. I like to keep it short, simple, and sweet. Any final comments from you two characters?
Yeah, let me just say, this is to the Republican Party who is undoubtedly having their lawyers watch this video to see if I screw up somewhere.
My wife reminded me of everything's discoverable.
I shared that article in the chat here, and I am fully aware that they're going to use all that information to try to undermine my arguments and all this sort of thing. But what I actually want is we need to fix this problem. And, we need to actually have some unity as a party, and people other than myself, not just me, but many people have been ignored for a long time. And what I actually want is the party to just follow the dang law. The general parliamentary law is what governs voluntary associations, which is what the Republican Party is, and I'm, as a member, as a former delegate here, I'm just trying to get the party to function how it's supposed to and how it presents itself to the public to function. The Supreme Court has said in the past, it's okay if political parties choose their candidates in smoke-filled rooms. That's something that's been said in Supreme Court opinions. But this is not how the party claims to operate, and therefore they are in an implied contract with its membership to operate with a certain modicum of fairness. And so we need to fix this, and we're open to talking and figuring this out before it gets through all the expensive lawyer costs.
Yeah, that's where I give you the crown of naivety, because that's what I always think. Oh, they're going to want to talk to you. No, remember what I said. It's discourage and destroy.
We're willing to take this all the way. We're taking this to the Supreme Court of Indiana if we have to. I don't think it's a federal claim, but we're going all the way with this.
Loretta Rush on the phone right now. Come on, Loretta, we got the court coming in. So, Stephen, what do you?
They have to pay my attorney's fees because derivative actions are benefit the corporation, not myself. So I'm going out on a limb here for the betterment of the Republican Party. And so if I win anything, the case law on that is that they have to pay and reimburse my attorney's fees.
Yeah. So again, raise your hand if you're getting paid to do any of this work. So Whitmer, I'll let you have the last word, and hopefully you can rail on somebody.
I'll rail on all of them for half an hour or more. I mean, it's
Well,
so much
easy.
easier. It's low hanging fruit. But yeah, obviously, Indie Reporter is going to be covering all this. As long as the judge doesn't throw it out right away, we're going to keep pounding the drum on it and just keep it going and promote the GoFundMe too.
Much
And
appreciated.
get more words out there and explain what's going on so those 4 clowns that are circle jerking each other understand what is actually going on. It's not about destroying anything. It's just about following the rules, which unfortunately they're too dim-witted to understand that.
Yeah, it is a question mark. So
Can I put the GoFundMe or GiveSendGo link? Can I ask for? Okay, I'm going to put it in the comments here.
Yeah, put it in the comments, and we just appreciate.
/GOP restoration.
Okay, yeah. See, it's not GOP destruction; it's restoration. So take a note there. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. We got good viewers tonight. I always love to see a lot of the folks in the chat. Brought over some from Witty Reviews, some from Mouthwash. This is how you get it together. I started Mouthwash over 4.5 years ago because people like, Abdul seems to think they set the narrative, and they're the smartest people in the city, and they're going to tell us how it is. And if we don't like it, tough luck. Well, guess what? There's a new sheriff in town, and Deputy Whitmer is on the scene. He is Barney Fife of Marion County right now. And then we got Joseph Bortka. He's like, what was that guy? What was the Supreme Court guy back in the 80s? His name was Bork. Was it? So he just reincarnated that guy. He wanted to be on the Supreme Court. He didn't make it. But anyway, I'm talking old man talk now and it's getting past. I got to get back to the nursing home. It's way past my curfew. I'll probably have to call to get in. So let's see what else we got. Anything? Oh, look, we got Jimmy Bennett loved our show. So yeah, there you go. That's great. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for doing it. Well, I'm sure we'll be having some Mouthwash stuff come on here. Whitty, what do you got coming up for Tuesday?
I'm going to talk about Elevate Ventures and some of like the question marks that we have on those. I talked about it earlier on the show of the whole IADC thing. So IADC gives money to Elevate Ventures, and they're supposed to give it to like venture capitalists or startups, and they're actually giving it to like universities, which is very weird. And they're also giving it to companies that's owned by Chad Pittman. And one of the addresses of a company is the same address to a company that Chad Pittman owns. So I'm going to be talking about that and some of the more Diego and Fabio stuff that I found out today about qualified economic zones. I actually went by Lafayette Square Mall earlier today.
Oh boy,
it's actually closed. So, and I did not know, but Fabio owns Lafayette Square Mall.
Yeah, that thing has been a problem. I actually worked on Lafayette shops in the 80s out there. I actually helped build that shopping center, which is near there. And Skinner and Broadbent used to go where the malls were and build satellite strip centers. But Lafayette Place and Lafayette Square used to be one of the best malls in the city. But it is not. It is not anymore. It's been bandaged up and all that. So I look forward to seeing that stuff there for you. On behalf of the Mouthwash Talk Show on Facebook and X, and then of course we're on Witty Reviews on your YouTube channel. If we could ever get some more donations, I could stream to 10 places live.
I can only offer Arby's coupons.
Yeah, I can give you some squash and zucchini and some corn out of my garden. That's how we do it here. We barter. We barter
some
for
jalapenos.
Yeah,
bacon wrapped jalapenos.
We're waiting for that Steve Whitmer Mankini picture when they get to 5,000. I'm going to demand it. And that's going to be it. So tell your friends on X, let's get that 5,000. I want to get it. And then Joseph, thanks for coming on and thanks for putting your neck out here because like I said, they try to discourage and then they try to destroy. A lot of time that is on your character. And I know both of you gentlemen, and I know your heart's in this for the right reason. And we're going to keep on keeping on. So everybody, thanks for joining us and catch us on Witty Reviews, 8:00 Tuesday, Mouthwash, 9:00. It's going to be all sorts of fun. Over and out.